developer for the entire 80-plus acres. The office market, as everyone's known since they were designated, has not done that well. So DCAM asked them to go out and find a partner to try to get their proposal moving again. We were selected by the Gutierrez Company to basically purchase this half of the site. This is approximately 49 acres. We've divided the site with a boulevard road coming down the middle and then a secondary boulevard road going through the rest of the site. This is where the townhouse component was located, and these are the 10 buildings are the apartment buildings. All of the buildings up in what I call the public realm, where they're visible from the street, are all 3 stories. There's a couple what we call 3/4 split buildings in the back of the site to take advantage of the grade, and that is when you're standing in front of the building, it's 3 stories, in the back of the building it's 4 stories. Again, those are buildings located well within the site. So all the buildings from basically the visual impact along 62 will be 3-story buildings. Thanks. Again, I think this gives you a better snapshot. Again, this isn't a landscape plan, it's just a concept plan. But again, the boulevard road coming in, dividing the site, secondary entrance, ingress, egress over at Route 2 on Lowell Road. We've got a total of 10 buildings. We've got a clubhouse and a pool. And again, we believe that this is going to be converted to a single building somewhere down along this area, which does a couple things in addition to helping the 40B issue. It really frees up some of the impact here down near the wetlands, and we understand the Conservation Commission will fund that particular issue very quickly. This is a future site for a restaurant pad. It's part of the Gutierrez plan. So what we're basically doing is master planning the site. In addition to all the local processes we have to go through, we will have to file with MEPA and go through the state environmental review process. To date, we've had one formal approval issued by the town of North Reading, and that is the delineation of the wetlands along the, eastern portion of the site, southern portion of the site. That was approved by the local conservation commission, but it was appealed by a group of citizens, and we are in the appeal process. We hope that appeal to be resolved in the next 2 to 3 months. In the interim, we're continuing to proceed through the rest of the environmental review process, and we will be filing with the local conservation commission in the coming weeks with a more project-specific application on notice of intent. Just a little about the development itself. On the 360 rental units, we have 52% 1-bedrooms and 48% 2-bedrooms. We would probably like to lean, and we may be talking to the subcommittee about increasing the number of 1-bedrooms slightly. We've just finished a project in terms of product identical to this in Waltham called The Ridge, and I encourage anybody to have a chance in Waltham to look at it. It's on Lexington Street, brand new. There is such a demand for 1-bedrooms, and the demand's being driven by a census shift, demographic shift, and that is single person households are being created 25% greater than any other type of household. So there's been an enormous shift. We thought this was an anomaly at first when we started our project in Waltham several years ago. We just recently completed it, but we've seen it kind of just go across the board, especially in metropolitan areas, particularly like Boston. So right now the mix is 52% 1-bedrooms, 48% 2-bedrooms. We have parking for approximately 1.8 spaces per unit on multifamily, and then I keep talking about that townhouse, but this is, you're probably not going to hear this again, but we have 2 spaces per unit for the townhouses, but again, we anticipate replacing that townhouse component with a single apartment building. We've submitted landscape plans and all of those types of features as part of the 40B application, and I can get any of the members who would like an application, we can forward one directly to the town manager and get it distributed. That would be helpful. That includes everything, and is very lots of data information to help you get a better understanding of the proposal. I think that's generally it. Just roughly these are 30, 32 unit buildings. Some of these larger buildings like this is probably about 42, 46 units. So. Again, there's really no fronts or backs to these buildings either. We've designed the buildings to have no backs. So when you're in the back of the building, it looks just like the front of the building. backs of these buildings are facing out. We don't want people driving by and thinking they're looking at the back of the building. So we've been able to accomplish that. We have detailed elevations and renderings that will be presenting to the subcommittee in the next couple of weeks, getting into those kinds of design details. Other than that, within the next 30 days, we hopefully will be able to demarcate. I'm going to talk, Mr. Chairman, a little about the easement issue and the leaching fields. All of the good soils for the leaching capacity, not just for our project, but for the town's future use and the future use of the Gutierrez, just happens to be over here. We are in the process right now of finishing a hydrogeology report so we can definitively demarcate exactly the area, number one, and two, to identify how much leaching capacity the fields have. Now, through the town's consultants, they were coming up with about 150, 200,000 gallons, 200,000 gallons. So we're hoping that this go-around will produce even more than 200,000 gallons. That particular leaching area is on DCAM property. Ultimately, Gutierrez property when they purchase the land, but like yourselves, we will need an easement to that property, not only for the apartment complex, but for your use and for the Gutierrez use. So basically what we'll end up going to DCAM is creating an easement on this entire site and then basically divvying up the leaching capacity to yourselves, us, and DCAM/Gutierrez. So not uncommon, it's permitted by DEP, so we're pretty comfortable that we can do that.
Let me make a comment here, just for the board members that don't know. Under the current agreement with DCAM, Gutierrez doesn't have to pass papers on that plot of land until, when, 2000 and...
Well, I believe they have the right to option out to 2010, 2012, I'm not... Right.
So that's the reason for the...
210.
It's just for that portion?
For that portion, correct.
And as far as the portion that you're going to be opting on here, that's using Mr. Gutierrez as a conduit. So
Yeah, we're gonna purchase it from him directly for fee simple. So we'll end up having our own deed, and then our neighbor will be DCAM in the interim technically. Gutierrez having the option to purchase the rest of the property.
Are those figures as part of your pro forma, as far as your purchase price?
Yes. Those were included in the mass development application.
So just to understand, DCAM is allowing Gutierrez Company to subdivide the property and sell part of it
Yes, I am.
to you?
Yes.
And is that,
That's
was one-
consistent with you.
I understand, that's what I'm saying, and that's permissible?
That's our understanding.
Okay. All right, I know that's not for you to
Now,
answer.
this plan has been approved by the Inspector
Yeah,
General, so...
okay. The Ridge property in Waltham?
Yes.
Is that similar layout to this, the buildings, or is it?
Well,
Is it one big building?
it's a similar.
Are the buildings similar? If you
Yes,
want to
as
go
a
look
matter
at-
of fact, the buildings are identical with one improvement from North Reading, and that is at Waltham, they're all 3/4 splits. So when you view the development from the street, unfortunately, you're seeing the back of the building, the 4-story side of the building. So this is not the case here because it's a flat site. Waltham was built basically on the side of the hill. The ridge, yes, the ridge.
Okay, so
And
we're
we've
giving.
made some changes to the design. Basically, we've taken what, again, with the backs of those buildings in Waltham, and made changes. We've added some more architectural detail and things like that. Because again, given this site, not only the visibility on 62, but in the future, people coming down this boulevard, it's almost impossible to have the front back of the building in the setting and pull it off. Because there's too much visibility. So it's easier for design buildings to have a front and two sides versus the front and back.
Okay, I have a few more
Yes.
questions, if I may. The parcel reserved for the restaurant,
Correct.
are you purchasing that?
No,
through
that's
Gutierrez?
part of Gutierrez.
So that
package.
doesn't need to be can't see Mr. Hanlon back there behind you, that doesn't need to be, there you are, developed till 2000,
Well, it's not part of this proposal.
It's not
Right,
part
we're
of this
following the
proposal.
other
okay.
element.
Be part of the commercial.
Okay,
project.
and, all right, I guess most of my questions around that, and you're not the person to ask. The affordable units?
Yes.
Are they scattered throughout the buildings on the
Yes,
property?
they're blind, and you can't tell where they are, or even the interiors are.
Right, I know we couldn't tell, but you're gonna scatter them
Oh, yeah,
for where
they-
people
they'll
live
be yeah.
around the property?
They have to be scattered, and they have to be scattered proportionally. too.
Okay. And I guess, you know, I don't know what other board members feel, but if you wanted to increase the percentage of one bedrooms, I would see that as a good thing.
Well, we thought it was an anomaly 5 years ago, and it's not. I mean, it's, you start looking at that, what I call that really dry census stuff that they issue federal government every once in a while, and then you see it empirically work out. We leased up all of our one bedrooms almost in Walton. There's a handful left. We're still in lease up there, and we have more 2 bedrooms than 1 bedrooms.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gardino on this one.
Is in Waltham, the ratio the same, 50 to 52 to 48% one bedroom?
The ratios, 52, yes, in Walton, that's correct.
And this is from what, census information, is it that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I read actually about 3 years ago, I was literally at home, and I was
Yeah.
reading something in the Globe, and it was just this teeny little article buried in the paper, and it was some press release from the Census Department stating that single-person households are growing 25% faster in New England than any other household. And I looked at that, and I said, wow, that's really compelling. And then we did some more research, and the good thing about census data is not like forecasting the weather, it's, you know, it's real, it's empirical. And we took what we considered a chance when we made that conversion in Walton, because in Walton, we originally had 60% 2 bedrooms, a more traditional split. So,
Rough, how about going through a rough timeline? What are the timelines, do you think?
Totally optimistic.
yeah, I never
Oh,
am.
you know.
I was gonna say several years, but I know Dave. I think the track we're in right now is that we're engaged in the 40B process. I think we've got a very good system set up to get through all of the issues, and work out all the details with the department heads and anybody in the public who has concerns. And I think that process is evolving. The 40S process, I think we've done a great job. Heidi,
You mean 40?
40 are.
excuse me, 40 hours. Too many acronyms. Heidi and the rest of your staff has done a very good job in pulling together a pretty comprehensive bylaw in a very short period of time. And I think that will be ripe to go to town meeting in the spring. Again, if we can meet all.
We're
all
required
days.
to have 2 public hearings.
Are you asking?
One thing.
One. And then one hearing to approve minutes.
Oh,
Right,
right,
February
okay, that's
2nd
right.
and 6th, we have that scheduled?
So we've already got into our queue when we're gonna have these meetings. We have a public session, and then we have to have a meeting to approve the minutes that then have to be submitted to the powers to be at the state.
Yeah, the state holds the keys in terms of the timing. I think the good news is that the state is, I'll use the word anxious, to see a 40-hour project actually come to fruition. It's a major public policy initiative of theirs, and I think the first few municipalities to take the step are gonna do well. Whether the program survives a few years from now or a year from now, who knows? But, you know, once the first few communities can get in line and get paid for taking that step, it'll be a good thing.
Mr. Bean?
Thank you, Bob. Just a couple of questions, if I may, sir. You mentioned on the parking, it's 1.8 per unit.
Correct.
Do you have overflow somewhere on the property?
Yeah.
Because
Let me just.
every
that's a
family
very
now
good-
is a two-vehicle
very, very,
family.
very good question. At note, and obviously, again, we have lots of empirical data that back this up that we'll be sharing with the subcommittee and others. At no time is everybody home here, ever. So if we're 95% occupied,